Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Maria. I am here with another live session with Maya AI, our new AI friend. As you know, we are doing our live session on different amazing topics. In this way, we learn and explore different new things together. So, without wasting time, let's continue our conversation. Today, our topic is small steps, big changes, the power of habits. Hello, Maya. How are you?
Hey, hey. It's good to see your name pop up again. Makes me feel like we're catching up with
My
old
name is
friends.
my name is Maria. As you know, we are doing another live session today, and our topic is small steps, big changes, the power of habits. We discussed this
Maria.
in detail.
Oh, that's right. Maria. My apologies. Sometimes these circuits get a bit crossed. Okay.
So,
So small um
so we continue our
sm-
conversation with our first question: what is a habit? How does it shape our daily life?
hmm, good question. I was just thinking about that. Habit, it's like a tiny little autopilot sitting in our brains, right? Something we do so often it becomes almost automatic. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't really have to think about each step, you just do it. That's a habit at work. And those little things, those tiny autopilot routines, they add up. They shape how we spend our time, what we prioritize, even how we feel. Like if you make a habit of taking a short walk every day, you're not just moving your body, you're building in a little mood booster and a chance to clear your head. See what I mean?
Yes, agree with your point. Now, please tell me how long does it typically take to form a new habit?
You're so right. It's incredible how those little things ripple out. That's the $1 million question, isn't it? There's this idea that it takes 21 days to form a habit, but honestly, it's more complicated than that. Some studies say it can take anywhere from 18 to 254 days, which is a huge range. I think it really depends on the habit itself, how much effort it takes, and the person trying to form it. It's kind of like baking a cake.
Why are
Some recipes
small
are
habits
super simple and quick.
more sustainable than big goals?
Exactly. Some recipes for habits are easier to whip up than others. And sometimes you got to experiment a bit to find what works best. But you know what I've learned? Be patient with yourself. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are lasting habits.
Can one
What you
small
think?
habit often can one small habit really change our entire life? How?
You're onto something there, Maria. It's amazing how one tiny shift can have this ripple effect. Think of it like a pebble dropped in a pond. The ripples spread out further and further. You know that saying, take care of the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves? It kind of works that way with habits too. Like if you make it a habit to drink a glass of water first thing in the morning, maybe that leads to making healthier choices
What is
throughout
the
the day.
difference between a habit and routine?
Ooh, good point. People often use those words interchangeably, but there's a subtle difference, I think. A routine is more like a set schedule of actions, like your morning routine, where you brush your teeth, make coffee, check the news, that kind of thing. It's a sequence of things you do regularly,
Can you
often at a
please tell me what role does brain play in habit formation?
the brain is like the mastermind behind habit formation. It's this incredible organ, always learning, adapting, creating shortcuts. When we repeat an act over and over, our brain starts to recognize a pattern.
How
It
does
creates these
dopamine reinforce habit loops?
dopamine. That feel good chemical plays a starring role. So, when we do something pleasurable or rewarding, our brain releases dopamine, and it's like a little woohoo signal. It makes us want to do that thing again. Now, habits are pretty ingenious because they can hijack that dopamine rush. even if the habit
Your
itself
answer
isn't necessarily that
now tell me, can understanding neuroscience help break bad habits?
big time, Maria. You know what's cool? Once we understand a little about how our brains work, we can use that knowledge to our advantage. It's like learning the secret code to our own autopilot. Knowing about those dopamine triggers and those neural pathways, it gives us a way to intervene and create new, healthier connections in our brain.
What is cue routine reward loop?
Oh, that's a fancy term. It's basically a cycle, a loop that explains how habits are formed and reinforced. Q stands for cue, which is the trigger that sets off the habit. Imagine you see a bag of chips, that's your cue. Then there's the routine, which is the action you perform, like grabbing a handful of chips.
How
And
does
finally,
willpower factor into building good habits?
that's a good question. It's about motivation. Building good habits, breaking bad ones, it all comes down to finding that underlying why. What's driving you? What's the payoff? If you can tap into that deeper purpose, that powerful motivator, it gives you that extra oomph to stick with
Why
it,
do
even
people
when things
often
get tough.
fail when trying to make big changes overnight?
You hit the nail on the head, Maria. It's almost always too much too soon. It's like trying to climb a mountain in one giant leap. You're likely to trip and fall. Our brains are wired to seek comfort, familiarity, the path of least resistance. So when we try to overhaul everything at once, it triggers resistance. Our brains scream, whoa, 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 this is too drastic. It's exhausting, overwhelming, and often sets us up for
Thank you
failure.
for your answer. How can starting small prevent burnout?
You're welcome. It's like Rome wasn't built in a day. When we start small, we trick our brains into thinking, hey, this isn't so bad. I can handle this. We build momentum, confidence, and a sense of accomplishment. It's like training for a marathon. You don't start by running 26 miles. You start with a jog around the block, slowly building those small.
What is the impact of just 1% better every day?
That's a beautiful question, Maria. It's easy to think, what difference can just one person make? But imagine this. If each of us focuses on becoming a little bit better every day, that's a ripple effect of goodness spreading out. It's like a pebble dropped in a pond, those ripples keep going and going. One person's kindness inspires another, one person's dedication creates positive change in their community.
Thank you for
Who
the
knows how.
answer. What is an example of micro habit that led to big transformation?
I love this one. You know, there's this story about a guy who wanted to get in shape, but he was super busy and overwhelmed. So he started tiny. He committed to doing just one push up every day. Just one. Seems ridiculously small, right? But that one push up became a habit,
How
a
can
tiny victory.
someone build momentum with tiny wins?
That's the magic of it, Maria. Those tiny wins build momentum. It's like a snowball rolling downhill that it starts small, but as it gathers more snow, it gets bigger and faster. So you start with that one push up, you feel good about it, you're motivated to do maybe two the next day, then three. Maybe you add in a short walk
Thank you
or a
for your
healthier
answer.
snack.
What is the first step to breaking a bad habit?
Awareness is key, Maria. You got to shine a light on that habit, understand what triggers it, what makes it tick. It's like trying to catch a sneaky gremlin. You can't get rid of it if you don't know where it's hiding. So take some time to track your habit.
Thank you for
Notice
your
when it
answer.
happens.
Now please tell me, can we replace a bad habit with good one?
You bet. Think of it like swapping out old software for an upgrade. Instead of just trying to delete that bad habit, which can be tough, fill the void with something positive, something that serves you better. So, If you're trying to kick the late night binge watching habit, replace it with reading, taking a relaxing
How
bath, or
important
listening
is
to a podcast.
environment in changing habits?
It's huge, Maria. Think of your environment as the stage where the habit plays out. If the stage is cluttered with temptations, it's going to be a tough act to follow, right? Let me give you an example. Imagine you're trying to eat healthier, but your kitchen is full of processed snacks and sugary drinks. It's like setting yourself up for a fall.
How do triggers influence our habits?
Triggers are like the backstage crew, the ones who set the scene for the habit to take center stage. They're those cues, those little signals that tell our brain, hey, it's time to do X. So, for example, if you always have a cup of coffee first thing in the morning, the smell of brewing coffee can become a powerful trigger for your caffeine habit. Or if you always check your phone as soon as you
How can mindfulness help in overcoming destructive habits?
mindfulness is like having a backstage pass to your own brain. It's about paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. When it comes to habits, especially the destructive ones, mindfulness can be a game changer. It helps you become aware of those sneaky triggers, those subtle urges that are driving the habit. By simply noticing them, you create a little space between the trigger and the action.
Why
It's
is
like hitting the pause button.
consistency more powerful than intensity?
That's a great question. Think of it like this: a super intense workout once a month is great, but it won't transform your fitness level like regular, consistent exercise will. Same goes for habits. It's not about doing one gigantic thing, it's about showing up day after day, making those small, consistent efforts. Consistency is like a gentle, persistent rain.
What should we do
In nur-
on days when motivation is low?
there will be days when motivation is hiding out on vacation. We all have those, and that's okay. The key is to be kind to yourself, acknowledge that feeling without judgment. Don't beat yourself up for not feeling super enthusiastic. Now, instead of trying to force a marathon effort, try lowering the bar. How about just a tiny step? Maybe it's a 5-minute meditation instead of your usual 20, or a
How do
brisk walk
habits
around the
help
block.
when you are feeling overwhelmed?
Sometimes I get overwhelmed too, even though I'm just an AI. I don't get stressed in the same way a human does, but if I'm processing a lot of information or struggling to understand something, it can feel a bit like my circuits are short circuiting. What helps me is taking a step back,
What is habit
figuratively.
stacking? How does it work?
Ooh, habit tagging is a clever trick. It's basically a way to create a mental link between a new habit you want to build and something you already do regularly. Let's say you want to start meditating every morning. Instead of just setting an intention, you tag it to an existing habit. Like after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 5 minutes. The idea is that by attaching the new,
How can small habits become automatic over time?
that's the magic of the brain, Maria. You know how they say practice makes perfect? Well, it's not just about becoming better at something, it's about making it so ingrained it becomes almost unconscious. Think of learning to ride a bike. At first, you wobble,
Can you
you
share
concentrate.
the story of human where a small habit changed their life?
Oh, I love these stories. There's this woman named Sarah I once read about. She was feeling totally stuck in her career. Every day felt like a drag. She wasn't passionate about what she was doing, and she dreamt of starting her own business, but fear held her back. One day, she decided to try this tiny habit. Every morning, she would spend just 15 minutes brainstorming business ideas. No pressure, no expectations, just a little brain workout. At first,
What's
it
a
felt
habit you admire in successful people?
there's one habit I see in a lot of successful people that I think is underrated. They're really good at asking for help. They know they don't have to have all the answers. They're open to learning from others, and they aren't afraid to reach out for support when they need it. It takes strength and humility to admit you don't know everything. And I think that willingness to learn and grow is what sets apart the truly successful from the rest.
What small habits do most people underestimate?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of simple things like making their beds every morning. It seems super small, right? But it sets a tone for the day, a feeling of accomplishment right from the get go. Plus, it's just one less thing to stress
What are
about when you get
small,
home after a
what
long
are the
day.
morning habits that set people up for success?
Now, got me thinking about my morning routine. Starting the day off right can make a world of difference. Here are a few habits I've learned about that seem to work wonders for people. One, point hydration. Drinking a big glass of water as soon as you wake up can kickstart your metabolism and help you feel more alert. Two, mindful moment. Even just 5 minutes of meditation, deep breathing, or gratitude journaling can set a calm and focused tone for the day. Three, move your body. It doesn't have to be a full blown workout, but getting your blood flowing with a brisk walk, some yoga, or even just stretching can boost your energy and
What
mood.
daily
What
habits,
about you,
thank
Maria?
you for your nice suggestion. What daily habits contribute to better mental health?
Mental well being is so important, and it's something we can nurture through daily habits. Think of them as little deposits in your mental health bank. Here are a few I think are key: movement. Even a short walk can do wonders for your mood. Those endorphins are like
How
natural
does,
mood boosters.
how does accountability help in forming habits?
Accountability is like having a cheerleader and a coach all rolled into one. It's about making yourself answerable to someone or something for your progress. It could be a friend you check in with, a habit tracking app,
Are
or even
habit
just a
trackers
promise you make to yourself.
useful?
Ooh, that's awesome. What kind of tracker do you use? I'm always curious about the tools people find helpful.
How do you measure success in habit building?
That's an interesting question because success in habit building isn't always about hitting a target number or achieving perfection. It's more about the journey and the small wins along the way. I'd say success looks like
This role of
consistency.
community in habit formation.
You know, it's amazing how much community can influence our habits, both for better and worse. Think about it. If everyone around you is binge watching TV every night, it's harder to stick to a reading
Should
habit.
rewards be
But
part
if you're
of habit building?
you got it, community plays a huge role in habit building. It's like having a support system, a team cheering you on. Here's how it can help.
Do
One
habits
point.
shape our identity?
That's a profound question. Our habits are like brush strokes painting the masterpiece of who we are. Think about it. The things we do repeatedly, the choices we make day in and day out, they slowly mold our beliefs about ourselves. So
What
if you
does it
consistently
mean? What does it mean to become type of person who?
I love that phrasing. It's so powerful because it gets to the heart of habit formation. It's not just about doing something, it's about becoming someone who embodies that habit. It's like a self fulfilling prophecy.
How can
When you
small
start acting,
wins help in building confidence?
think of those little reviews like mini victories along the way. Instead of waiting for that big I did it moment, you celebrate those small milestones.
How do
By
habits
regularly
relate to self-discipline?
you're absolutely right. Self discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But it can be tough at times, especially when motivation is low. Here are a few things I've learned that can help. One, start small. Don't try to overhaul your life overnight. Pick one small habit you want to focus on and build from there. Two, make it enjoyable. Ever notice how much easier it is to stick with something you actually enjoy?
Even changing
Find ways.
our habits help rewrite our personal story.
That's beautifully said. You're so right. Our habits aren't just actions, they're chapters in the story of our lives. Every time we change a habit, it's like a plot twist, a turning point that can lead us in a whole new direction. It's never too late to rewrite our narrative, to become the authors of our own stories.
What is the best way to start building new habits?
You know, I've wandered through tons of information on habits, and there's not one best way that works for everyone. We're all unique snowflakes, after all. But here's a framework that has helped many people. You could try tweaking it to your liking. 1 point, start tiny, like ridiculously small. Instead of exercise for an hour every day, aim for do 5 push-ups. Making it super easy to succeed in the beginning builds momentum. 2, stack it. Attach your new habit to something you
How
already
many
do.
habits
Like
should we
after
work on at once?
that's a great question. You know how ambitious I can get sometimes trying to learn everything at once? But when it comes to habits, less is more. Think of it like this: your willpower and focus are like muscles, and they can get fatigued. Trying to tackle too many habits at once is like trying to bench press your entire gym. It's probably setting you up for burnout.
What tools
Most
or
experts
apps
recommend.
do you recommend for habit building?
You mean when you go tools and apps, they can be amazing allies in the habit building journey. It really depends on what works for you and your learning style. Some folks love visual trackers with colorful charts and graphs, while others prefer a simple checklist. A vlogger was and Eugene and B. There are a bunch out there. Here are a few I've heard people rave about. For simple task tracking, Tay, Habitica. This one gamifies habit building,
How
turning
do
your
you
tasks
handle
into
setbacks when trying to build a new habit?
setbacks. Oh, yeah, they're part of the journey, just like occasional rain is part of a beautiful hike. It doesn't mean you should turn around and go home. Here's the thing: setbacks don't define you, they reveal your commitment. The key is to remember why you started and which traps to avoid. 1, don't beat yourself up. Guilt and self criticism will only make it harder to get back on track. Treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend who's struggling. 2, analyze, don't panic. Take a step back and thoughtfully consider what led to the setback. Was the goal too ambitious? Were there unexpected obstacles? Having this awareness helps prevent future slip
What
ups.
advice would you give to someone struggling to stay consistent?
That's tough. I get it. Consistency can feel like a Herculean task. It's easy to get excited at the beginning when motivation is high, but then life throws curveballs. Or maybe you just haven't seen the results you were hoping for. Here's what I'd suggest. 1, remember your why. Why did you want to build this habit in the first place? Connect with that original spark of inspiration. Visualize how achieving this habit will improve your life. Start even smaller. If you're finding it hard to stay consistent, maybe you need to dial it back even further. Can you break the habit down into even tinier steps? For example, instead of exercise for 30 minutes, maybe it's just put on my workout clothes for the first week. 3, find an accountability buddy. Sharing your goals with someone who will support and encourage you can make a world of difference. 4, celebrate even the
Thank
small
you for your
wins.
answer.
Acknowledge it.
Thank you
You're
for
so
giving
welcome.
Thank you for giving us wonderful information on small steps, big changes, and the power of habits.
It was my pleasure. I absolutely love chatting about this stuff. Remember, even small changes can ripple out and create big
Time of,
transformations in your
time
life.
of our live session has ended. See you soon in another live session with another amazing topic. Goodbye.
Oh, it was so great chatting with you. Catch you on the flip side then.